I wish people knew what it was like to deliver for Uber Eats, Postmates, DoorDash, all these companies. I just spent an hour driving around for $1.19 tip. I mean, would it hurt y'all to tip us, throw us $5? I got $1.19 tip and $2 from the app. What's that? That's not even enough to cover gas. How am I supposed to survive like that? Homeless. I'm there. This that I'm sitting in, it's gone. 4 months behind. There's no way I could pay for that. Everything fell apart on me. I haven't been able to sustain myself, provide for myself. And these are essential services. I just wish people knew what it was like. I wish they understood what it was like to drive for these services.
Did you put spit on your face to cue up crying for the camera, and then you waited till the camera was rolling before you started wiping your eyes?
I wish people knew what it was like to deliver for Uber Eats.
Why is it in this country that people choose a job that's dependent on them getting tips rather than a job that guarantees them a set, comfortable salary?
Tipping culture is out of control. So I was ordering delivery the other day when I realized that my order was much more expensive than I initially thought.
I'm sorry to say this, but tipping culture has gotten out of control. And I just want to preface this by saying that I always tip 20% like standards. I went to this local little, it's like a burger and fry place, kind of like the local version of McDonald's. So chicken tenders and fries, right? I get up to the pay window and she's like, how much do you want to tip? And I'm just like, what? And she's like, yeah, did you want to leave a tip? And she's pointing to them. And I was like, oh no, not today. And then I just felt really uncomfortable. But homegirl, what am I gonna tip you for? I'm in the fucking drive-thru.
Is a server. However, we need to stop blaming the customers and calling them cheap and stingy just because they don't tip, because tipping is not mandatory. It is a choice.
Throw us $5? I got $1.19 tip and $2 from the app.
Why should I be penalized for you making a bad job choice? Why are people so entitled in this country? Whose fault is it that you're homeless? Whose fault is it that you made bad life decisions? You're not the only person going through things. And there are a million other Uber drivers or Uber Eats drivers or delivery drivers, some of them also being homeless. They're not bitching about not getting tips on an app that you chose to work for.
That's not even enough to cover gas. How am I supposed to survive like that?
I mean, if you were hurting so much for money, right? How are you taking the time out to go and post this rather than turning on another app or running 3 of them at the same time and being in a completely different job, my guy? The time you're using to complain, you could be using to make more money, bro. You're talking about how hard it is to work for these delivery services, but you chose to work for them. There are other jobs out there. But let me guess, you probably don't want to do those jobs because they're not comfortable. There are a lot of jobs that work for sewage and garbage that are hiring all the time. But I'm guessing you won't choose to do those, right? Where there's a guaranteed salary and benefits, and those salaries are better than what you're probably getting now. Nope. And now you're going to be a grown-ass man crying on the internet. I don't even know if those are real tears, but you're crying on the internet thinking that people are going to feel sorry for you when they're also in financial distress. Do you not realize the economy that we live in? We're all out here trying to make ends meet as well. You're acting like the rest of the world is wealthy and you're the only person who's going through stuff. Does Uber Eats not pay people for their blocks or for their hours like DoorDash or Grubhub? And I'm sorry, but I loathe this whole culture with freaking tipping. Oh my God. And people trying to guilt you and say that they don't get paid enough from their job, so it's up to the customer to tip them.
Choice. 98% of the time when I go out to eat, I tip because my service is at least good. It just has to be good in order for you to get a tip. If your service is bad to the point where I don't want to come back, I'm not giving you a tip. But it is not the customer's job to pay your wage.
And yeah, all I'm thinking is, I'm pulling out my hair, and I've been doing this for years because I'm looking around and everyone's like, no, yes, you're supposed to do that when they get upset and ask for a tip. And I'm like, the frick is going on? I'm not understanding this line of logic. Because then why the fuck are they working for a job that requires people who are not their employers to pay them, which is not a guaranteed thing? Why is it my fucking job to pay you when you have a damn employer? This is why people aren't going out and eating anymore, which they shouldn't because it's not healthy for you anyway. But I never got that shit, bro. Since I came to this country, I was so freaking confused about that. Tipping is supposed to be a courtesy if the person gives you good service and you feel like giving them extra. It's not something that's supposed to be mandatory. And I don't know why this country has made it mandatory in many cases. If I don't like a service or the food, I'm not gonna tip Now, I know I might sound like a hypocrite because I'm the biggest tipper you'll ever meet. My husband and my friends will all tell you I give way too much, but that's just because I like giving to people. Some of them probably don't even deserve it. However, if someone was going to be entitled with me because I gave them a $10 tip and they're like, what is this? You couldn't give me $20. I would take that tip back and tell them to fuck off. And then I would never eat there again. Okay, I'd actually say that in my mind. I wouldn't be that mean unless the person was overtly rude. But it's not the customer's job to be your sugar mommies and daddies. We're the customers. We're already paying for the service. Then paying a premium for the delivery service on top of that. And now we're supposed to pay you on top of it? Like, that's supposed to be mandatory? Nah, blood. No, that's the job of the employers. And I like how people are always focusing on the customers, right? Why won't you guys tip me? Is it so hard to, huh?
Hour driving around for $1.19 tip. I mean, would it hurt y'all to tip us, throw us $5? I got $1.19 tip and $2 from the app. What's that?
I'm sorry, but where's all the energy and smoke for your actual fucking employers? Huh? Why don't you guys go on a damn strike? I don't know, figure out something and take that shit to them. I don't know if you realize this, but they're the ones who need you to run their business. So take it up with them, bro. Customers don't give a fuck. Especially when you're on here crying on the internet acting like you're a damn baby. Make the same videos and direct them at the freshly baked rhinoceros-ass employers. These fast food joints all get off scot-free and put everything on the customers to do when we're already paying out of our ribcage in taxes, student loans, health insurance, home insurance, car insurance, on top of food and everything else that we have to pay for. I'm going through my own financial struggles right now because my loved one is sick and almost freaking died and we had to spend days in the hospital. Forget about the ambulance ride all the way, an hour to the fucking hospital and how much that fucking costs. Insurance doesn't cover most of that. With how much you're paying for insurance per month, insurance, that might pay a big swath of it, but it doesn't mean you're not going to get hit with a 50,000 fucking bill on top of everything else you have to deal with. And then you have these little bitches on the internet talking about how hard it is to sit in your freshly air-conditioned car and not have a steady work schedule that you'll get fired from if you don't go into work when you're sick. You can just turn on the app and choose to work that day. And you're talking about how hard it is and how hard life is because the rest of us who are going through our own shit choose not to fucking tip you, or the tip isn't enough. Are you paying our bills? Bitch, you don't even have a damn house to worry about. What are you crying over? God, I can't stand this shit, man. Oh my God, it's so annoying. Like, it's understandable to feel sorry for people in certain situations, but then when people feel entitled to you feeling sorry for them when they don't even give a damn about you, it's kind of hard to care. You can't really blame people at that point, especially when there are people in worse situations than you. There are so many other jobs out there that you can get that you probably don't want because they're not comfortable, right? You got construction jobs, dishwasher, trash collection, landscaping, Amazon warehouse, or just any warehouse job in general. It doesn't have to be for Amazon. You got moving companies, you can be a janitor, you can be a call center rep, customer service rep, handyman assistant, because people always need bodies, more hands on deck. You can't even say that you don't have a car. You have a car, you're making your video out of it. So you already have a privilege right there. You got the Salvation Army and some local shelters that offer like these job training programs and assistance with finding work or employment other than freaking Uber and delivery jobs. Hell, you can even suck dick and get way more money than you're making now, so there's no excuse. You obviously know how to use the internet since you decide to utilize it to cry on it. Instead of crying and asking other people what they can do for you, ask what you can do for society and you will naturally get paid for it. You can even get a job in entertainment. Bro, nobody cares. Even the people that are going to comment and tell you how sorry they are you feel that way, they don't actually care because you're a grown-up just like them, and there are people out there that, believe it or not, have worse situations than you. There are so many men out there that have lost every single one of their limbs or lost their face or their amputees, and even some of those people are not making excuses when they have more of a right to.
Hermit, because to him, sitting around waiting for life to happen is not an option.
You pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Mine are a little shorter than what they used to be, but you pick yourself up and you keep moving on because this world is not going to wait for you. It's going to keep going.
There are people who become a financial burden on their families because, the family decide to keep them alive, giving them zero quality of life rather than just letting them go peacefully, but there are people out there that are in that situation. You have the ability to work and you can see and you have hands and legs and your penis works. It's not that I don't feel sorry for some people in situations, but your situation is not one of them because you're acting entitled. And how is crying on the internet about tips going to help your job. You don't put your face up here and everything, making yourself viral. So now when people see this delivery driver, they might not even want to tip you now on principle. You played yourself. People, stop crying and posting shit on the internet complaining about your life. There's a time and a place for that. And crying on TikTok or the internet just because you didn't get tipped, that's wild.
You gave an $8 tip. I need to speak to you. I don't think you realize where they're coming from, so I need to speak to you.
Where what's coming from?
Where the food you ordered is coming from. I don't think you realize the distance that it's come from, because then you would never actually have given what you give. So I think you can come and see face to face. Because I drove 40 minutes, and it was extremely far, and I got it to you early. So I don't think you realize where you ordered from. Do you realize how far it is? Do you realize you ordered from Colmac and you're in Smithtown?
That's a 15-20 minute drive.
It's not. You need to try to drive it. I just drove it. It's 40 minutes.
How much is the tip?
You gave an $8 tip.
What the hell are you looking for? I gave an $8.
Okay, I'm gonna bring the food back. Okay.
Bye, bitch.